So late one night, or really early in the morning, Billy Cush was intoxicated and ended up at the wrong house in the wrong neighborhood. The neighborhood and the house that he ended up at, he thought was his own house and neighborhood, but being that he was intoxicated, he could not tell which house he was at. He tried to turn the doorknob thinking that he was going to enter into his house, but what happened was the owner of the house came out and was armed with the weapon. Billy asked for a light for his cigarette, and that was the only thing that Billy was armed with. The owner of the house, however, thought that Billy was trying to attack him or was going to attack him because Billy kind of stumbled forward in front of him. So the owner of the house shot him and ended up putting Billy in the hospital for about a month and a half. His family didn't understand why the case never made it to court, but with Stand Your Ground law, the owner of the house got off because he was protecting himself and the owners in the house. Now, a couple states over in Texas, a firefighter ended up getting into it with his neighbor. The neighbor was playing loud music, and the firefighter wanted to go and talk to the neighbor. However, they got into an altercation and ended up in a fight where the firefighter ended up killing his neighbor. The neighbor died, and this case, however, did go to court, and the firefighter was found guilty. He thought that he could use the Stand Your Ground law to get off of killing his neighbor, but what he didn't know was he couldn't be the aggressor in the situation. Being that he was the one that approached the neighbor and got into it with the neighbor, then it was not a Stand Your Ground because you can't be the aggressor in the Stand Your Ground law. So my name is Elena Burwell, and I am here to inform you about the Stand Your Ground law and how important it is to know the law in your state. Now, it is the citizen and lawmaker responsibility to understand the importance of the Stand Your Ground law in the states that they live in. Being that a lot of states do have the Stand Your Ground law, however, each state have different requirements within the law that states that you can't do certain things in order to use the Stand Your Ground law in a case. With Texas, like I stated earlier, Texas, you cannot be the aggressor and claim self-defense in a court case. The law says that you have the right to protect yourself or to defend yourself if you feel like you're going to be killed or be physically harmed. You have the right to protect your house, your property, anyone that lives inside your house. And in 2005, the law changed where you have the right to protect yourself anywhere that you're legally allowed to be. With the Texas law and the Florida law, that's the same thing. That's both of the same things that they have in common. You have the right to protect yourself in your house. However, you cannot claim self-defense with a person that lives inside the house or has the right to be inside of that house. So that's where a lot of people get off with. Another case that happened where a particular woman, she wasn't able to use Stand Your Ground law as a defense because the person actually lived inside of her house. So the law was set in place to protect the people, to protect citizens against people that are trying to rob you, attack you, rape you, murder you. Actually, the growth of justifiable homicides have grown from the time the law started into 2009. So it's grown about 30%. And the law also crime rates have dropped within the rape, burglary, and like protecting your physical assets. It has, however, grown to a rate of murder and homicides. So the next thing is, it's important to, if you are the person that is about to be attacked or you're thinking that you're being attacked, it's very important to think before you react. I know at times it can be hard to think about like what you're going to do when you're in that situation if somebody's trying to harm you, but sometimes it can be a misunderstanding, as we've seen with Billy. Billy wasn't trying to harm the man at all. He just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he ended up paying for it. and having to stay in the hospital with a whole bunch of bills. So it's really important to think about what you do when you're having weapons or guns, or you're claiming that you're defending yourself and you end up killing someone because they can't come back from that. However, I also learned that murderers and drug dealers have also used the self-defense law to get off of killing people when they shouldn't have gotten off. So it's kind of like, who does the law protect? Does it protect the citizens that it's meant to protect, or does it protect the people like drug dealers or people that's just out trying to kill other people? The Stand Your Ground law is a complicated law. It wasn't meant to hurt innocent people. However, it has hurt innocent people, and it has killed innocent people, and haven't gave innocent people justice. However, it also has helped people when they needed to defend themselves. So if you get rid of the Stand Your Ground law, you can't really know what to do if someone is really trying to attack you, because if something happens and you do end up harming that person, or you do end up killing that person accidentally, then what happens to you? So you really have no one to defend you from the person that was trying to hurt you. So it is important that you protect yourself and your little ones by knowing and understanding the law. It is very important that you know the laws that's in your state, because as I stated earlier, each state has different requirements within that law. So if you accidentally kill someone or didn't mean to kill someone and you try to claim self-defense, you might get off and you might not get off, being that each law has different requirements. Like I said before, Stand Your Ground, the law is to protect citizens as they protect themselves from harm. And that's all. Do I have any questions?
What's the definition of stand your ground?
So stand your ground is basically like you're defending yourself, like you're standing there and defending yourself instead of like trying to run from the person. Like you have the right to defend yourself if someone's trying to break into your home or trying to like break into your car, or if anybody's trying to harm you when you're out in the streets, anywhere that you have the right to be legally. Like if you're somewhere illegally, you cannot use the stand your ground law. Also, another point I forgot to bring up is you cannot use stand your ground law for police officers. Anyone that has told you that they are entering into your house and that they stated that they are a police officer, you cannot shoot or kill them or try to harm them and claim self-defense because they are an officer of the law. So, any more questions?
Does North Carolina have stand your ground law?
North Carolina doesn't have stand your ground at this time. Wait. They do have stand your ground at this time. I'm sorry, they do. I meant to show you this map earlier. The states in the red have stand your ground laws, and the states in the yellow are considering having stand your ground laws. Any more questions?
Do you think the stand your ground law is going to become nationwide or just state by state?
Well, I'm not sure if it's even going to continue to move on, because right now it's a whole controversy between the stand your ground law, being that what happened with Trayvon Martin, and no one really knows his side of the story or what happened with him. Was it really self-defense? Being that if he was in Texas, he would have been the aggressor, so they might have found him guilty. But however, he was in Florida, and Florida have a totally different law from Texas. Florida, basically, you can be the aggressor and approach someone and kill them and claim self-defense, and you might just get off. So each state is different. Any more questions?
How do you think the stand your ground law will affect the people, the citizens?
I think right now at this time it could be a bad thing, because being that this trial that with Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman just came up, people might feel like they can just go out and kill somebody and claim self-defense and get off with it, especially if they live in Florida. So it kind of depends, I guess, wherever you live.